everyone. I'm Becky Goldsmith. You may know me better as Piece of Cake. I have been teaching, especially to guilds, for more than 20 years in person. My virtual classes are hybrid classes. There is a live Zoom component and a pre-recorded video component. The videos live on a website called Creative Spark. On the day of class, I come together with students on Zoom every 30 to 45 minutes. In between those times, everybody has my phone number so they can call me or text me if questions come up. Honestly, that doesn't happen often, but when it does, I am right there. The video part happens separately from Zoom, and every student I've taught really likes it that way because they have control over how fast they want to go through the videos, if they need to pause, if they want to rewatch something. It means nobody ever gets left behind. No matter the speed you work through class, that content is right there when you need it. It also cuts down on the technical issues that can sometimes happen with Zoom. I give students access to the preliminary videos of a class so that they are all ready to sew on the morning of class when we start in with the actual class content. And the videos are available to students for 2 weeks after class. So if anyone needs to go back and rewatch something, they can. All of these are why I really do like to keep the video component separate from the live component. My online classes include foundation paper piecing, hand quilting, hand applique, and English paper piecing. There are more classes coming, and I have 3 one-hour lectures that are always well received. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. I love working with guilds, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for watching, and may you have many happy stitches.
Hi everyone, my name is Pam Hadfield. I live in Southern California, Laguna Niguel, and I would like to share my quilts with you. So I have been very fortunate over the years to have received multiple awards for my quilts in Rota, California, Nashville, Tennessee, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Paducah, Kentucky. And because of that, I've been able to have some of my work published in these magazines. So for your guild, I will do a trunk show, either virtually or in person. I have a variety of quilts. I have pieced quilts, applique quilts, wool applique, a collection of challenges, and I have seasonal quilts, mostly Halloween. And then I share things that I've learned over the years because there are things that to be learned from practically every quilt. So for my workshops, I have, this is Red, White, and Blue. It's my own pattern. It's 2 patterns in one. So the original one is this with the border, and then I decided to take that border off and extend the lines out. And this is a raw edge machine applique that we do in the workshop. And then I will show you how to put on a facing instead of using a binding on this quilt. Then there's Whimsy Wedges. It's a fun workshop with a different approach to making the Dresden pattern. So this is a pattern that comes from a Quiltmania magazine, which I've been given permission to teach. And it also gives the maker an opportunity to be very creative by the use of fabrics that she chooses. And so every Dresden in this class will be different. You can either make a pillow, the table runner, or you can make a small quilt. Then there's Happy Halloween. This is a new workshop. This is a cotton and wool project. I am only going to do this virtually. It's 3 one-hour session classes, and then you have plenty of time in between to sew. So the last workshop, I'll cover the quilting techniques and the binding with the flange. Then this is All Around in the Neighborhood. It's a Halloween pillow. And again, this you can be very creative here by the choice of your fabrics. We use a wedge ruler to make this. And it doesn't need to be a Halloween quilt. It can be any season, and it can even be made into a quilt for your living room. I mean, a pillow. Okay, and this is the Crazy Christmas Tree. And this is kind of a stack and whack project. It's a workshop. We make the table runner, which gives you all the skills you need in order to make the large full-size quilt. And then I also will show you how to put on that binding with the flange. So again, my name is Pam Hadfield. You can reach me at mamapquilts.com, 949-285-5389.
Hello, I'm Leanne Parsons from Devoted Quilter. I've been quilting for over half my life, and I'm a quilt pattern designer and workshop teacher. I love helping quilters add skills to their toolbox. Learning a new technique really opens up new ways for quilters to make quilts they love with confidence and joy. I teach 2 workshops. The first one is paper piecing with freezer paper. We all know and love how wonderful paper piecing is for creating intricate, precise blocks. But ripping out all those itty-bitty bits of paper at the end is so irritating. Plus, it uses so much paper. Paper piecing with freezer paper lets you keep all the precision in your blocks, but you don't have to rip out any paper at the end. It's like magic. During the workshop, I use my burst pattern to demonstrate how to paper piece using freezer paper, and students have plenty of time to practice the technique while making their own burst blocks. Burst is a scrap-friendly pattern that is perfect for any student, from quilters who have never paper pieced before to paper piecing experts, tired of ripping out the paper. Students often tell me after the workshop that they'll never go back to paper piecing the regular way again, and they can take their new freezer paper skill and use it to make any paper-pieced quilt pattern. My other workshop is Conquering Curves. There's no denying curves can be intimidating, but there's also no denying the fun and movement curves can add to our quilts. In the Conquering Curves workshop, I use my Noodles pattern to guide students through stitching their first curved blocks. The Noodles block is a gentle introduction to sewing curves, and the pattern is fat quarter friendly. Students will leave the workshop with skills that they can then apply to any curved blocks they want to stitch. To book a workshop, or if you have any questions, email me at devotedquilter@gmail.com. You can visit my website at devotedquilter.com. You can also connect with me on Instagram, where I am Devoted Quilter, or on Facebook, where I am Devoted Quilter Designs. My patterns are available at devotedquilter.etsy.com. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joyce Becker. I'm a landscape quilt artist and an author for C&T Publishing. I'm here today to talk to you about a brand new workshop I'm offering online through Creative Spark, and it's called Quick Little Landscape Quilts. And you know what? It's non-threatening. It's a blast to do, so much fun. And you know, as I've traveled around the world teaching and lecturing, I've had a lot of quilters who said, oh my gosh, I could never make a landscape quilt. Well, using this type of class, I'm going to teach you in a very non-threatening way how easy it is. You know, I'll lead you through everything, the designing tips, the fabrics to use, some wonderful coloring techniques, how to cut realistically, that's really important, and then how to do the thread work and quilting on it. So these designs are different in that they're matted and framed. I built them on a product called Fast Diffuse Heavy. It's an interfacing. And so it's so easy to just make a small quilt versus a very large landscape quilt. And I know by the end of the class, you're just going to be addicted like I am. I do show an actual process of creating a quilt called Beacon of Hope. And you're certainly welcome to create one right along with me. If you want, you don't have to. You can just watch the workshop if you want. Or if you want to build one yourself, I have a supply list for you. So I'm eager for you to watch this and can't wait to see what you do with this workshop. Thanks again.
Hello, my name is Nancy Prince, and I am from Orlando, Florida. I'm an international teacher, author, and designer specializing in thread painting and thread sketching. My quilts have won numerous awards, including Best of Show at the International Quilt Festival in Houston, Best of World at Mancuso, and over 20 Viewers' Choice Awards. On-site workshops have been my main focus for the past 20 years, but in the last year, virtual workshops were added. My aim, whether on-site or virtual, is to create an atmosphere of learning, but at the same time, keep the students interested, engaged, plus add a bit of fun and laughter along the way. My previous students have all commented on my attention to detail and how well the workshops are organized. The same camera technology I have used in my on-site workshops have been recreated for my virtual workshops to give students a front row seat for up-close viewing of all machine demos. All workshops require a kit, which includes a comprehensive color booklet illustrating each project step in detail. My on-site and virtual workshop selection includes a variety of thread techniques. Thread-painted landscapes, woodland starts with the printed background, and the thread is the star to create a realistic, completed project. Embellishing printed fabric again starts with printed fabric, and the workshop's emphasis is learning the shading and blending techniques to create a realistic design. Countryside thread sketching begins with printed stabilizer and a straight stitch to create a light and airy design. In addition to on-site and virtual workshops for guilds and shows, I also offer a special virtual workshop version called At Home with Nancy. These workshops are open enrollment, which means anyone can sign up. Individuals can choose from an already scheduled thread painting workshop, or a group of 10 or more can determine their own scheduled time. Derwent Inktense pencils workshops, whether on-site or virtual, are so much fun. Just pencil a design on the fabric and then paint the design using my fantastic fabric medium. The difference is dramatic. My most popular lecture is So What is Thread Painting All About? And with 20 years of making thread painted quilts, there is a story to tell. This lecture delves into my thread painting techniques, some fun and humorous stories surrounding my quilts, and a virtual trunk slideshow of quilts from my first thread painted quilt 21 years ago to my latest competitive quilt. To select a workshop, go to nancyprince.com and click on Workshops and Lectures and select On-Site, Virtual, or Open Enrollment. Learning to thread paint and thread sketch is fun, easy, and offers another avenue to embellish your quilts. I would love to share thread painting and/or thread sketching with your guild. Thank you, Sue and Lyric, for the opportunity to be here today.
Hi, I'm Candy Grisham. I'd like to welcome you to the world of reimagined Dresden quilts and blocks. My website is icandyfiberart.com, where you can learn more. And I hope you will join me on this fun, creative journey as we explore the Dresden quilts. Come join me and see what we can do with Dresden quilts. I'm a teacher, an artist, an author, and a quilter. Here's my book, Dresden Quilt Blocks Reimagined. I've done several patterns on modern Dresdens, and I've been teaching for 30 plus years. I love to do it. Right now I'm doing it virtually and in person. Here's my studio where I offer virtual workshops. I've been doing these for over a year now, and people really seem to love them. I send you instructions on a YouTube video showing you your supply. You can do some pre-cutting instructions. The workshops are live with some pre-recorded videos, and they're available afterwards depending on which platform I use. Facebook page for students to show, share, ask questions, get feedback. That's available to all my students. My program, virtually or in person, is Give a Girl a Wedge. It talks about my journey with these reimagined Dresden quilts and how I got there, where I've gone with them, and what my students have done. It's a lot of fun. I do workshops 3 ways: virtually with Zoom and live video, which is nice because it's flexible. You can split it up over time rather than one long day, through Creative Spark, which is an online learning platform and offers a free ebook, or in person with full or half-day workshops. My workshops, the most popular, are the Modern Dresden Reimagined, where we learn all these different Dresdens with different edges, different fabric piecing, and then some unique layouts that's really your own quilt when it's done. I also have a new one, Dresden Still Life, where you use the Dresden elements and other additional elements and create your own design. It can be done over a couple of days or a single day. I'm offering candy stripes now, which is a squared off block and also utilizes the wedge for the border. I also like to do some other old blocks in new ways. This is a modern curved log cabin that can easily be done with scraps, or it can be with a planned colorway. I'm also offering a modern mystery. This is for a full-size quilt, but can be modified. It's been done by many, many people, and they love it. I guarantee it. It can be done with individuals or groups. So get in touch with me. My email is candicequilts@gmail.com, or you can reach me and see other quilts through iCandyFiberArt.com. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you to Global Quilt Connection for this opportunity to share what I do.
Hi everyone, my name's Kathie Beltz, and welcome to my studio here in southern New Hampshire. Let me tell you a little about myself. I am an award-winning quilter who's been quilting for 26 years. I've been teaching for 17 years, and I'm also a quilt judge. I've been judging for about 14 years. Back in 2013, I became a certified instructor for Studio 180 Designs, which is Deb Tucker's tool and technique company. 5 years ago, I launched my own line of quilt patterns, Kathie Beltz Quilt Designs. Most of those patterns are companions to the Studio 180 design tools. So of course, my latest adventure is virtual teaching. Let me show you what we have to offer. I'm going to share my screen and start. Currently, I am offering 3 lectures, and most of my classes are available online. My lectures and classes are live. They are not pre-recorded. My first lecture is Studio 180 Design Trunk Show. So there are 22 different tools and over 100 patterns in the line. We won't have time to talk about all of them, but I will highlight my favorites. Each tool creates a basic unit of a basic quilt block. So when you mix and match the tools and the blocks, you get all kinds of design possibilities. And we'll go through a lot of them during the trunk show. My next lecture is Secrets from the Judges' Chambers. Now, there really aren't a lot of secrets. You probably already know a lot of this information, but I'm just going to remind you about how to put your quilts together to make them award-winning quilts. We'll talk about the judging process and how quilts are awarded ribbons and awards. My most popular lecture is Easy Color for Quilters. If you're confused by the color wheel or how colors are related to each other and how to put them together for quilts, this is the lecture for you. What I do is I break down all those technical terms about color theory. I convert them into English so that you understand them. And then I relate all those terms directly to quilts. I'll be showing you lots of quilts so you understand exactly what I'm talking about with all these fancy terms. Now my classes, I have a lot of classes that are available. There are too many to go into in detail right now, but I basically teach machine piecing, and I'll give you lots of tips and tricks on precision piecing. So these are some of the classes that I have to offer. And these are some of the other classes I have to offer. The best thing to do really is to go to my website, click on the classes tab, and there you'll find all the detailed descriptions of all the classes, fees, any other information you may need about my online classes. So, so here are my contact information. My website is kathiebeltz.com. Please check out my links on Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram. And you can always email me directly at kathy@kathiebeltz.com. So let me stop share. Thank you for joining me today in my studio, and I really look forward to meeting you and your quilting friends.
Welcome. My name is Sandra Lee of Sandra Lee Design. Maggie's Squares is a quilt pattern that I teach in one of my workshops using repurposed denim. We've all stored up denim, and what do you do with it? Make a quilt. Make some clothing. Let's work with that denim. New Orleans Peel is one of my new patterns, and I love teaching it. You can do it with repurposed denim, or you can use fabric. Live virtual workshops are my thing. Sashiko workshops are just so relaxing and you learn so much. Let's do a workshop together. Here's some ideas of how you can use sashiko stitching. Here's a workshop I teach. It's a kimono style jacket. And here's where I teach it from. Wearable art using vintage quilts or quilts tops that you have already created. Here's some examples of my workshops. I worked with Joanne Fabrics. Also, I've been featured in Quilt Now magazine. Don't forget Quilting Art's TV show. That was a great experience. And Quilt Folk, they came to California. Squam was amazing. So book me. I'd like to come to your group. Don't forget, let's create Sandra Lee Design.
Hey there, this is David Owen Hastings, and welcome to my studio. I'm a graphic designer, a gallery artist, and a modern quilter, and I'd love to tell you about all of my lectures and workshops that I have available. They're all bookable by Zoom for your Gilder group. First off, I've got Inspired by Architecture, one of my most popular workshops that helps you build design skills working from an architectural photo. Also, I have Modern Abstract Quilts. This is a 2-day in-depth workshop all by Zoom, where I help you develop your own skills, and we really focus on the quilting line as a main design element in your work. I've got also Inspired by Art, in which you pick a piece of artwork that you admire, and I show you how to take elements of that and develop it into a modern quilt design. And also, if you'd like, I've got mini mid-mod quilts. This is a really fun one where we work on tiny compositions inspired by mid-century modern design and throw in a little sashiko hand stitching at the end. I've also got 2 project-based workshops that you might like, Quilted iPad Case and a Quilted Eyeglass Case. These both use the Quilt As You Go method, and they're great ways to develop your confidence in choosing fabrics for a project. If you like something a little different, I've got Stitched Paper Collage. In this, we use found paper elements, often from junk mail, turn them into wonderful stitched paper artwork pieces. And also I've got a visible mending class where we can unplug from the sewing machine and do some wonderful hand stitching and embellishment on either a garment or on a quilt project of your own. I've got 6 lectures that are available too. One is Exploring Nature with Paper in Stitch, and this is my journey as an artist from doing stitched paperwork to modern quilts. And I've also got Indigo Dyeing in Japan. I love Japan and traveling there is wonderful. I'll take you on an armchair trip with me to Japan and learn more about using indigo to dye fabric. And my most popular lecture is Minimal Design, Maximum Impact. So if you're a traditional group or a modern one, I can help you learn more about how to appreciate the modern aesthetic through that lecture. I've also got 3 professional development lectures that you can read about on my website, which is davidowenhastings.com. You can also read about how to book a lecture or workshop with me, and please reach out to me. I can send you information about pricing and scheduling, and I'd love to collaborate with you and create a wonderful experience for your guild or group. Talk to you soon.
Hello, I'm Kellie Willey from Sacramento, California, and I teach miniature quilt making to the everyday quilter. I know a lot of quilters are really hesitant to make a miniature quilt because they've heard it's really just too hard. I find that not to be true, and in my lecture, Little Quilt's No Big Deal, I'm going to talk to you about those secrets and those techniques to make a small quilt. Plus, I'm going to bring a whole bunch of my little quilts to show you. I have another lecture called Little Challenges, where I show you how to take patterns that you've purchased and scale them down to make a miniature in 1/10 of the time that we take making a large quilt. It's really a lot of fun. I offer a lot of workshops. They are geared towards the beginner quilter, but also if you're a really advanced quilter and you've made miniature quilts, you will just hone your skills. My workshops are about 6 hours. They're a lot of fun. I have a lot of energy. I like to share a lot of techniques during my class. We can do it virtual, we can do it in person. The choice is yours. A lot of students leave with their quilt top finished. I have a lot of classes to choose from. Here's a few of the classes that I have currently, but check my website because I'm always adding new ones. During my virtual workshops, I utilize several camera views, and you will be able to see everything up close and personal. My patterns are all original and have really clear diagrams and are very easy to follow. One of the things I don't allow in my class is the quilt police. I am not going to force you to make one tiny block over and over until you get it perfect. I don't want to scare you away from making a miniature quilt. I want you to love the process. So guarantee no quilt please, a lot of fun, a lot of energy. I'm available for lectures and workshops either via Zoom or in person. Please check my website to see what my current pricing is. You can download my fee sheet. You can download my contract. You can email me if you have any questions. I also have supply lists on my website for each of my workshops, so you can see exactly what's required for the class. Oh, and if you like free things, go to my website, littlequiltcreations.com, go to the store tab, go to the very bottom, and you'll see right now a current offering of several free patterns. I really want everyone to get excited about making miniature quilts. I can be reached at littlequiltcreations@gmail.com, and I hope you'll consider having me come to do a lecture or a workshop, either in person or via Zoom. And in the meantime, try a miniature quilt. I think you'll be pretty excited about it.
Hi Quilt Guilds, my name is Carolina Moore. I'm a quilt pattern designer, quilt teacher, and award-winning quilter living in San Diego, California. I've been teaching quilting for over a decade, and I have been quilting for almost 3 decades now, and I love to teach quilting. I do a lot of quilting teaching online, and you can see my YouTube channel. Here is the link to that if you want to go check out my quilting videos over on YouTube. You may have seen some of them before. I also do quilting videos for Stitch in Heaven, so you may have seen me as a guest faculty member on their YouTube channel as well. I'm also an art gallery fabric socialite and a baby lock influencer. Over on my website, you will find a list of the different classes that I teach, and I'm always adding new classes. So if you see something on my YouTube channel that you would love to have me teach your guild in person, just let me know and we'll put together a custom class for you. I do a lot of projects, I do classes on any of my quilt patterns, and I teach basic free motion quilting for beginners. Because I have a lot of experience with cutting machines, I've put together a class that shows the Cricut Maker and AccuQuilt Go machines and how you can use those to cut fabric for your quilts. I was once a quilt guild president myself, so I know how much work it is for a guild to put on programs. So to make things a little easier for you, I have put together some 12-inch block patterns that you can use in your guilds. If you want to use these as opportunity blocks, lotto blocks, as skill builders, for charity quilts, whatever you want to use these blocks for, the patterns are free. And most quilt pattern designers don't allow our patterns to be copied and distributed without consent. These ones, I'm giving you consent, and the consent is right on there for you to go ahead and make as many copies as you need for your guild, distribute them electronically, distribute them as paper copies, and give them to your guild so that you can use them for whatever you need. I teach virtual classes, and I teach a limited number of in-person classes. So if you're interested in having me come to your guild, I hope that you'll reach out to me, and I look forward to talking to you and your entire guild very soon. Until then, I will see you on YouTube. Bye for now, friends.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth DeCroos, and I'm the designer and teacher at Ebita Studio, my workshop in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. I design and teach traditional quilting and embroidery. My lecture, Simply Beautiful Quilting, will give you ideas and inspiration for using basic quilting patterns to make your own beautiful things. I also design and teach pojagi, which is traditional Korean patchwork. I am not Korean, but I had the great opportunity to live in Korea, where I studied and learned about these techniques. My lecture, called 2,000 Years of Patchwork, tells about the history of pojagi and how it fits into Korean culture. It is fascinating to see the bright colors and dramatic designs. I've developed a technique to stitch pojagi style seams by machine, and I use that to make window hangings that look like stained glass. You can hear about this technique and my whole journey in my lecture called From Ancient Korea to Modern Canada. Each of these lectures have accompanying workshops. I teach on Zoom with multiple camera angles so that everyone can see what is happening. My most popular workshop is called the Pojagi Improv Window Hanging. In this class, students will make a unique reversible window hanging with simple cutting and piecing. This is a great introduction to machine stitch pojagi seams and will give you the confidence to move on to more complex projects. I also teach workshops for specific patterns, such as the maple leaf window hanging, the snowflake window hanging, and the glimmer window hanging. Each of these window hangings are reversible, and they don't include any black fabric. For those who want to learn traditional Korean sewing techniques, I have 2 other workshops. You can hand stitch a pojagi bookmark with lightweight, delicate silk fabric and silk thread. Or you can make a traditional 4-patch pojagi. This can be used in the traditional way as a wrapping cloth, or it can be used as a nice table topper or accent piece for home decor. These workshops are great introductions to traditional Korean sewing techniques. Whenever I speak to groups, the most common reaction I get is, "Wow, I've been quilting for 20 years and I've never heard about this or seen anything like it." The designs and techniques appeal to both traditional and modern quilters. For more information and details about my work, check out ebitastudio.com.
Hello, my name is Carole Lyles Shaw, and I am a modern quilter. I teach modern quilting, I lecture about modern quilting, and I've also written a couple of books about modern quilting and a number of patterns. I offer 2 different lectures for quilt guilds and groups. The first lecture is called What is a Modern Quilt? And this lecture is suitable for guilds and groups that are curious about modern quilting, but may not have been exposed to much discussion about the elements, the design elements that make a quilt modern. I start by busting up some of the myths that are still out there about what a modern quilt is supposed to look like. Then, using a virtual trunk show, I cover the design elements that we find in modern quilting today. And I also emphasize that there are some emerging trends. So modern quilting is changing every day, every month, and every year through the contributions of quilters from all walks of life all over the world. And that's what makes modern quilting exciting. My second lecture is called My Journey to Modern Quilting. And this lecture is best suited to guilds that have had some exposure to the design elements of modern quilting, either through workshops or lectures, or because they are primarily a modern quilt guild. I cover my own personal journey, how my own style and approach to modern quilting has evolved over the last really 20 years. I also emphasize in this lecture how I am working with some emerging trends such as Afro-modern and maximalism. So it's a fun conversation where we can talk about what's going to be next on the modern quilting horizon. I also offer live classes for guilds and individuals, and my schedule of live classes can be found on my website. So I hope that you will consider inviting me to visit your guild and have a dialogue with you about what modern quilting is really all about. You can find out more information about me at my website, which is running across the bottom of this screen. And I definitely look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, I'm mixed media fiber artist Lisa Thorpe. Welcome to my studio. I'd like to tell you about my Zoom workshops and lectures. So come on in and I'll tell you all about them. Surface Design Sampler shows videos of 3 wonderful, surprising print and paint techniques, and you'll be on your screen so you can see the big reveal up close and personal. In Photo to Fabric, Design in the Palm of Your Hand, I'll reveal how I use apps in my smartphone and tablet to manipulate and play with photos, then print them on fabric on my home printer or professionally. In this lecture, I'll share my workbook of Delightment and their companion art quilts. I'll dig into composition essentials to teach you about elements and principles of design to use in your art. If you love this Delightment workbook, then never fear, I offer this as a workshop too. I've got a few more surface design and composition workshops for you. They all have a full kit with live Zoom demos and feedback sessions. Here's a quick look. Bird Box Collage uses photo to fabric techniques combined with fabric collage. Stamp and Stitch. Create, carve, stamp, repeat. Wing and a Prayer Flag workshop, you get to color, design, cut, stitch, and play. Kitchen Garden Quilts is an adventure in fabric colorizing and hand stitch. That's just a little taste of what I have to offer. There's so much information and detail on my website, lisathorpe.com. I hope to see you on the small screen soon.
Hi, I'm Beth Cunningham. My expertise is in the teaching and the production of fine art. I've been an educator for 5 decades and taught kindergarten through adults. I'm excited to tell you about my offerings for guilds and groups on the Zoom platform. My work is hand-stitched with needle, thread, beads, and bits of fabric at a slow, easy pace. No sewing machine required. Workshops are for all skill levels. My stitch work is the inspiration for my workshops and lectures. Say It With Words was inspired by my series, Unspoken Thoughts, where text is the primary embellishment on 9 dresses. We will practice lettering, transfer the words to fabric, and discuss the best choice of stitches for the text. On the right is a preview of the kit. My Texas Wildlife series inspired the Scarab Beetle workshop. In assembling the applique beetle, we will use fusible web, add embroidered legs, and look to the fabric for inspiration in embellishing with stitch and beads. Another preview. Miniature punch needle is also referred to as Russian punch needle, an ancient embroidery technique where a hollow needle deposits a loop of thread on the underside of stitched fabric. The loop creates the design. Sassy Stripe Sampler is a fun and perfectly portable project. In my research on samplers, I discovered that schoolgirls of the 1930s and 40s and 50s made samplers on striped fabric to keep their stitches in straight lines, and I thought that would be fun to do the same. Lecture, Evolution of an Artist. After graduating from college, I began married life in Charleston, West Virginia. Quilting was queen. Cabin Creek quilts were being shown in New York City, and everyone wanted to quilt. This is my journey, my time capsule of how I came back to hand stitch. This lecture, Inspiration to Creation, Contemporary Hand Stitch, is about the artistic creative process, the process of how artists are inspired, and the mechanisms they use in creating. The common thread between these artists is hand stitch, yet each artist utilizes the threaded needle differently. This piece on the left is In Process, from my new series on candy. Can't wait to see the workshop this piece inspires. Maybe extreme stitch? I'm passionate about textiles and stitch, and my experience and knowledge is extensive. I promise professional lectures and dynamic workshops. I am Beth Cunningham at bethcunningham.com. And thank you so much for your time.
Hi, I'm Lauretta Crites. As a professional costume designer, I spent many years working in the world's finest theaters, not only in Los Angeles, but in Europe and Russia as well. But late nights and lots of travel is hard on family life, so I left that world 18 years ago and let my love affair with quilting take over. Now, as an art quilter and a teacher, I get to indulge my passion for textiles with all of you. And I get to costume the figures in my quilts entirely as I please. I'm delighted to share these Zoom presentations and workshops with you today. Back in early 2020, I taped 4 segments for Quilting Arts TV. One of them got such a terrific response, I expanded it into Picture This, How to Create Pictorial Art Quilts. I'll teach you all the tips and tricks I use to source, scale, and resize photos to create full-size working patterns for my designs. You've dreamed it, I'll show you how to do it. There's a mix of traditional and art quilts in 'Tis the Season, Welcome to My Home. Settle in, grab a cuppa, and get comfortable as I share with you how I change the seasons through my quilts in seasonless, sunny Southern California. Quilt Coloring Fun is one of my most popular workshops. I'll teach you how to use ordinary colored pencils to make colorful, washable quilts. Choose one design from my collection of mini quilts, and we'll go step by step through the coloring and sealing process. Did I mention I'm a pattern designer? Quilted fabric is used to build this cutting mat tote bag. It's a large tote specifically designed to hold your 18.5 by 24 inch rotary mat and 6.5 by 24.5 inch ruler. You can customize the other pockets for your favorite tools. Designing with Painted Tyvek combines an inspirational 1-hour PowerPoint lecture about this exciting adaptable material with hands-on demonstration and instruction for the ultimate in right-left brain education. Visit my website, LaurettaCrites.com, to find more Zoom and live offerings and general information. Please fill out the interest form you'll find there, and I'll contact you about your needs. I believe that creating is a pathway to joy, and I love helping people tap into that joy. Thank you for watching. I look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, I am Susanne, an inspirational sewing instructor, and I love quilting and using quilting techniques in home decor projects and creating quick and easy sewing projects in general. When you learn quilting, you can't just create these beautiful quilts, you can also use those techniques to create home decor items like these. I can help you to learn those sewing and quilting basics, and together we can start your creative journey. With my focus on absolute beginners, I'm on a mission to create classes that help you to lay the right sewing and quilting foundation from the start, but also learn how to use your creativity and sewing skill to create a positive aura within your home with your wonderful projects that you've created. My passion lays in mindset, positivity, and creativity. And I love to share everything that I learn in those fields, all the mistakes I do and obstacles I face in my creative life with my email community. All my students I encourage to see the perfection in all their imperfections. And I want to help you to tap into your creativity via quilting and home decor items. In my latest class, Your Quilting Journey, I'm sharing the machine quilting basics in a compact and on-demand video course that will teach you step by step from my point of view how to create a baby quilt. A small project packed with lots of knowledge that you need for any quilting project. I'm on your side every step of the way, and you can always reach out to me whenever you need help. Together, we will find a way that works for you to live your creativity and express yourself with fiber art. We are all on our own creative journey, and I'm eager to share mine with you, and I'm looking forward to learn more about the stories behind your quilts and how mindful quilting and slow sewing can change your life. Magic unfolds in every stitch with every creation. Unfold your magical creations today. My website is beamazed, as in beamazing.com.au, and if you scan below QR code, you will be transferred to all the important links. You can see all the classes that I'm offering, you can sign up to my email list, and you can stay up to date once I have finalized my certification to become a scrappy applique teacher. And once that's live and you're on my email list, you will be the first to know when classes will start in that field. I hope I'll see you in my email community or in class soon. Have a good day. Bye.
Hello, my name's April Sproule. I'm a mixed media textile artist and I live in Northern California. I offer virtual workshops and presentations, and I also take limited bookings for in-person events. Teaching gives me the opportunity to share with you what I really love to do, which is create textile art. What I'm most excited about is helping you learn to express your creativity in ways you've always dreamed of. As you focus on skill building that's a part of every workshop, you'll experience a dramatic increase in your confidence and technical proficiency. I offer 3 different presentations. The first is transformation from technician to artist. Letting go of perfectionism in my work really freed me up for greater creativity. And here I will tell you why. Collections of my textile art and quilts will also be featured here. Next, I offer making your mark with textiles. Textile art can be functional as well as decorative. Here I'll share examples of my block printing on fabric, bag collections, and wearable art while providing lots of interesting insight into my work process. The last one is the myth of creative genius.
Great artists are not always just born that way. For many, it takes years of really hard work to master their medium. Here I share the benefits of developing a regular practice and setting up systems to help your creativity flourish. In my first workshop, Japanese Boro-inspired stitching, students will have the chance to stitch both the piece square and a sampler with lots of different stitch variations. And they will also learn my process for stitching without a hoop. The next class I offer is the Beautiful Birds Collage Workshop. Birds are one of my absolute favorite things to stitch these days. I can't wait to teach students all I've learned in the last couple of years about drawing and stitching birds. I offer a goldfinch and a blue jay workshop. Block printing on fabric is another popular workshop that I offer. Mark making on fabric just doesn't get any easier than when you're making hand-carved stamps. This process provides immediate gratification when students get to start printing their very own fabric. Although I have lots of other workshops available on my website, the last one I'm going to feature here today is the hand-embroidered mandala workshop. Students will learn lots of different stitches while stitching through a pattern that is pre-printed on special stabilizer. They'll have their choice of creating either a full color or a neutral piece. Thank you all for watching today. I'd love to have you check out my website. I have a sample contract on the website and all the hiring information that you might possibly need. I also have examples of all the classes and presentations there. So I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Mel Beach, and here I am with my 3 studio assistants. When I'm not in a quilted fort, I'm a full-time artist, teacher, and writer. I've had a really exciting year, including a guest appearance on the Quilt Show, as well as several published articles. Here I am in my San Jose, California studio, where I'm equipped and very experienced with offering live online lectures and workshops for a variety of quilting groups. My goal is to make it really easy, fun, and inspirational for everybody, especially including the program shares. I offer lots of pre-workshop support, including promotional materials, as well as an email in advance of the workshop with the handouts, as well as Zoom information. I use all the different tools and features that make virtual so exciting and refreshing, including a combination of slideshows, mostly live demos, and a few short video demos. And I use all the different Zoom features to really create lots of opportunities for participants to be engaged, ask questions, and get feedback. And again, virtual offers lots of flexible scheduling options. We can do in one day, we can break up into 2 sessions for more digesting of information, which is working out really well, and participants are especially loving that opportunity. This year is all about quilting fun and games, and that includes a new Design by Dice mini workshop where we roll the dice and respond with a variety of exercises featuring design. And that pairs really well with my Fun and Games and Quilting lecture and workshop. In fact, I rolled the dice 100 days in a row to experiment different mark making on fabric techniques and mediums. And I am taking some of my favorite techniques from that experience and turning into a new mark making magic workshop, which will be brand new for early 2022. And here's a little preview of what we'll be doing in that workshop. Of course, I still love free motion quilting workshops, especially via Zoom. It's great for those that are intimidated by free motion quilting. It's more relaxed. You can work on your own primary sewing machine, and that includes those that prefer to stitch on a long arm or mid arm. They are welcome to join the fun. Modern free motion fillers and fun is one of my more popular workshops. Crazy in Love with Free Motion Quilting is my newest. Mod Moles and Bright Blooms, super fun. Pebble and Play. Magnificent Mondos is more for experienced quilters, and then Walking Foot Wow is great for everybody. Those all pair well with my free motion creativity and reality lecture. It's my fun twisted take on free motion quilting through the lens of reality TV. I also love modern improv piecing, slice of improv, more beginner friendly, and freestyle and spiraling, more intermediate level. And those go well with my Challenge Yourself lecture. If you want to learn more about me, visit my website, melbeachquilts.com. You can also get more quilting fun and inspiration from my monthly newsletter and my blog.
Hello, my name is Lyric Montgomery Kinard. I'm an artist and teacher who loves working with quilters more than anything. I'm so glad you're here. I will be offering limited in-person lectures and workshops starting up again in 2022. But isn't it wonderful that we have other options now? I will continue to offer live virtual workshops going forward. Let me tell you how they work. I find there are some real advantages to virtual offerings. Isn't it amazing to be in your own workspace with your own equipment and access to all your favorite materials? Best of all, when you're looking at your screen, it's almost as if you're sitting right next to me with nobody else blocking your view. You see everything super close and super clear. On the day of our live class, we join each other via Zoom. I share a few tips and tricks for how to use Zoom effectively, then we get started. I'll use an overhead camera for most of our demos, or share my screen if a close-up pre-recorded video would be more effective as a camera angle. You can see me working right along with you in real time. I keep a close eye on all of my students on a large screen monitor so I can check in with your progress and answer all your questions. If you have any bandwidth or scheduling issues on the day of class or just need a break, don't worry, I've got that covered. I've worked really hard to record all of my demonstrations ahead of time, not only so you get the best possible view, but so you can work ahead or go back and repeat any of the techniques you missed. All of the workshop instructions are uploaded into a private online class space that students can access during or after our live session together for the next 2 days. In fact, there's usually more content in the online class space than we can get to during a 3-hour live session. I also have some really fun, shorter, and less expensive alternatives to my usual virtual slide lecture. It's not something you can really do in an in-person meeting, but it's perfect for getting everyone involved from home, where you can grab paper and pencil and a few scraps to play with. You can choose really easy and fun exercises in abstract design, color theory, the elements of art, and how they apply to traditional quilts, or we can even make silly postcard self-portraits together. If you're an art or quilt guild representative, you can see all my hiring information right down there, including my contract and prices. So take a look at what I have to offer, send me an email, and we can chat. I really look forward to working with you. Together, we can build some confidence in your members' creativity. Happy quilting. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Lyric Montgomery Kinard, and my partners are Sue Bleiweiss and Mel Beach. We are so glad to have you with us. Let me tell you about another project I have going on. If you're interested in becoming a virtual teacher, go to academyforvirtualteaching.com, where you can join a vibrant community of teachers who are striving to become more proficient and professional online teachers. If you go to globalquiltconnection.com, you can find downloadable spreadsheets as well as links to all of our virtual quilt teachers' websites. We hope you and your guild are able to find exactly the program and the courses that you're looking for.